I'm Emily Mortimer, and this is the IMDb Show.
Emily Mortimer, welcome to the IMDb Show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you? You have literally the most British-sounding name, Emily Mortimer. It fits perfectly.
I am very British.
And Mary Poppins is British. This was a classic 1964 movie starring Julie Andrews, and now it's back with Mary Poppins Returns. Where does this film pick up, and who do you play?
So the film picks up about 25 years later.
Okay.
And I'm Jane Banks, who you may remember from the original movie.
Rather inclined to giggle, doesn't put things away.
Michael was my brother and is my brother still. His wife has died and he's left in charge of these three very adorable, quite unruly children.
My goodness, Annabelle, what have you done to your clothes? You could grow a garden in that much soil.
Mary Poppins takes it upon herself to come and revisit us.
Right.
Because she sees that we're both sort of scrambling about in the dark, really, and needs a bit of help.
Jane Banks, still rather inclined to giggle, I see.
I'm still trying to understand what exactly Mary Poppins is. No, I'm serious. This is an honest question because, she floats from the heavens.
She's a magical nanny.
So she's a witch.
No.
In a good way. Witches can be good.
Really? How incredibly rude.
I don't think she's a
So
witch.
what is she? She's like
She's a magical nanny.
A magical
nanny. Why did you ever say witch?
Witches get bad
Who looked
rap.
after you when you were growing up?
That's gratitude for you.
What is it about Mary Poppins that still resonates with the audience today?
Well, the movie was just perfect, somehow. The character is sort of iconic and one that I think we've met a lot in storytelling over the ages. That person that isn't your parent, a kind of magical presence. They don't have full responsibility, and so they're able to kind of allow kids access to their imagination, which is really what this second movie is about.
So you've been off filling the children's heads with stuff and nonsense.
You've forgotten what it's like.
You know, I'm sure when you walk onto a movie that has a musical element to it, is that a different sort of atmosphere?
It was the closest I'll ever get to being in a sort of Broadway musical, because I cannot sing, which I was actually required to do.
No.
Come on, have a go.
No, I haven't sung in years.
How did you lie in your audition?
I don't think they asked me. I think they
didn't?
just assumed that
Right.
you can sing, because most actors sort of can.
D flat major.
But no, actually, since I've done it, I've got a bit of confidence about
Okay.
it. Because when it actually came to it, I did sort of do it, but I only have like 3 lines on my own. I'm singing one song with everybody, and then I've got 3 lines in a duet with Lin-Manuel Miranda, like the most famous sort of Broadway musical person ever.
The one. The only.
You know, as an actor, you spend a lot of your time wishing you weren't where you are, wishing you were back with your kids,
Gotcha.
you know, and not on the other side of the world somewhere weird, making a movie that you don't even know whether it's going to be any good. But on this movie, on Mary Poppins, I was just like, God, I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky to be here. I feel so lucky to be part of this. To have Meryl Streep standing there, to see Dick Van Dyke get up and do a tap dance on the desk. It felt really magical.
Everything is possible.
Even the impossible.
Listen, Mary Poppins is by far the most famous nanny of all time.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
She's not a witch, she's a nanny.
She's a nanny.
Yeah.
But she's busy with the Banks kids. So, since you and your husband, Alessandra Nivola, are both hard at-work actors, we wanted to quiz you a little bit. Out of all the characters you shared the screen with, who would you choose to nanny your kids? All right, here's how this is going to work.
Yes.
I'm going to show you 2 faces of
Yes.
2 co-stars that you've performed with, and you're going to decide who would you rather have nanny your kids for a day. Here's your first one. Liz Lemon, Tina Fey in 30 Rock, or The King, Alessandra Nivola in Love, Labour's Lost. And don't forget, it's the character, not the person.
Okay, good to know, because I would have probably given away far too much about my marriage and my husband.
You may not come, fair princess, within my gates.
I think Liz Lemon would have been good with a baby.
You know what I have? A Sims family that keeps getting murdered.
But maybe that's just because she's a woman. Am I being sort of
I think you're being
sexist?
incredibly sexist
Yeah,
and
okay.
putting
Let's go for
mankind
the
back
king,
20
then.
years.
I demand you this.
Because I'm having to right the wrongs of centuries of oppression.
Oh, my period! You're all fired!
All right, next one. Russ Duritz, Bruce Willis in The Kid, or Will McAvoy, Jeff Daniels in The Newsroom?
Well, the baby would be dead within sort of
With who?
hours in both instances.
Yeah, because I
Who else would be responsible?
Will McAvoy would leave the kid in a taxi,
Well,
Agree.
and Bruce Willis would just be so horrible and mean to the kid that the kid would just die of a broken heart.
There is nothing wrong with me. I just didn't get enough sleep last night.
Final one. Inspector Clouseau, Steve Martin in The Pink Panther, or the station inspector in Hugo, played by Sacha Baron Cohen.
This is like Sophie's Choice or something. This is just horrible.
Clearly a violation.
Well, a station inspector is a total sadist, although he might be the kind of person that once the baby appeared, sort of melted.
If we only knew when that moment was.
Maybe I'd go for him because Inspector Clouseau's just definitely the baby will be dead.
There is no place you can hide.
I do love how deeply thought out your answers were with this. These were your co-stars and that was the game. Nicely played.
Play games, sing songs, give treats. Ridiculous?
I gotta ask you, in your off time, when you are not giving your kids to random strangers to be looked after,
Yes.
what are you watching?
We dragged our children, who neither of them particularly wanted to come, but actually both of them really enjoyed Roma. Yeah, it's just beautiful about life and the pain and the suffering and the sweetness and the everything. It's just about everything.
A second one.
Well, me and my husband have been watching Making of a Murderer, but we're very behind.
Season 1 or season 2?
Season 1.
Mr. Avery's blood is found inside of Teresa Halbach's vehicle.
Steve, everybody's listening. What do you want to say today?
I'm gonna listen.
I mean, it's brilliantly done and so gripping and just says a lot about the presumption of innocence, which is something that I think in this day and age is being slightly worn away because everybody is being judged in the court of public opinion at all times.
In fact, the sheriff was told by the police, you have the wrong guy.
What else are you watching? What are you looking forward to seeing?
So American Animals, that was one of my other things that I just have recently seen.
This library is home to the most valuable book in the United States.
$12 million.
Normally that kind of moulding of
real life
and
with
documentary,
reconstruction,
like
acting is bizarre, but it works.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I think it's really, audacious filmmaking. I've never seen anything quite like it.
You really need to see how easy this is gonna be.
Oh, you know this from all your previous heist?
Listen, thank you so much for being here. It was fun to learn so many new unknown things about you, Emily Mortimer. A pleasure having you here. Mary Poppins returns. It's in theaters everywhere, December 19th. Now, before we go, head on over to imdb.com/show where you can rate the show, add it to your watch list, and catch all of our previous episodes. One last thing, we've got all the previews you want to see all in one place. It is this week's Trailer.
It's time to light the Yule log.
Shiny! There she glows.
I like darkness. This isn't super beautiful.
The world ends in 8 days. I have no idea how to stop it.
I'll put on a pot of coffee.
Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. He wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
I'm with her.